Can you dig it?
Ladies, gentlemen, friends, foes, lurkers, regulars, GMO people, organic people.
Boiler room. Inbound. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Boiler Room. How's everybody doing out there tonight? I'm your host. My call sign is Hesher. Thank you for joining us for tonight's broadcast. It's great to see everybody out there in the Discord and on the live streams. Hello, hello. Good to see you, Timmer, Chopper, Brent, Chef Jake, Sugar, Chopper, Kilowatt. What's going on? Just Cuz 75. Yeah, what is going on, everybody? DeWolf, what's going on? Good to see everybody out there in the chats. Timmer, what's going on? Good to see everybody. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and scroll to the bottom because I've missed a lot there. Welcome to the Boiler Room, everybody. We are broadcasting live here at alternatecurrentradio.com, at Spreaker.com, on the YouTube channel for Alternate Current Radio, on the Rockfin channel for Boiler Room. Thank you once again for joining us. It is September the 8th of 2022, and we are here. Boiler Room is here, ready to see what's going on out there in the media streams. Hey, can you dig it? There it is again. We better kill that. All right, yes, we can dig it, and it is worth hearing twice. So here we are. Great to see everybody out there. Okay, well, I guess we're beyond the tipping point. We're at the point of no return. We are at the point of no return, folks. If you've gone this far in your Boiler Room journey, there is no turning back at this point. There is no amount of blue pills that can take you back into the Matrix. There is no amount of pretending. There's no amount of hiding your head in the sand, no amount of ostriching that is going to stop what is happening right now. And what is happening right now is an escalation into a very strange, abnormal new normal where we can be locked down. We can be told whether we're essential or not, whether, we can be told whether or not you can send the kids to school, whether or not you can go get a procedure, whether or not you can go get checked out for, I don't know, whatever kind of treatments you need. Who knows? You may not be allowed in the hospital at some point. You may not be allowed in the workplace. You may not be allowed in the grocery store. You may not be allowed out of your country. You may not be allowed into another country. And the ignorance used to be bliss. But if you've been here with us for the journey over the last 8 years, there is no going back. There is no going back. So we will take on the same paradigm as Big Pharma. Oh, stick with me for a moment here. Yes, because the cure for black pills are white pills, and the cure for blue pills are red pills. And we'll come up with all colors in between, right? Because we can't just let ourselves get black pilled. We can't just let ourselves get red pilled, because if you get red pilled, you're on your way to black pilled. So got to have a little bit of fun in there. Got to have a little bit of gallows humor as we march into, well, let's not march into, but if the powers that should not be have their way, they would have us all marching into a technocratic dystopia that is misbranded as some sort of utopia. Let's open the green room door here. Boom, there we go. We got Adam Ruckus Clark joining us. Adam, what's going on, man? Welcome to the Boiler Room. How you doing tonight?
New studio. Who dis?
New studio. Who dis? Looking good, man. All right.
Howdy out there, folks. That's right. We got a nice microphone going on. We got a camera going on. We got a mixer going on, if you can believe all of that, folks. Because if you are a long-term listener of the Boiler Room, you're probably like, what?
Yeah.
So, yep, we're all moving on up here. It's pro level here. I hope I sound good.
Oh, yeah.
I hope the next time we have an upgrade, all three of us here at least, and then some, we're going to have the gold microphones like Rush Limbaugh used to have. What do you think about that?
I'm working on it, man. I got the same one, except mine didn't come gold for some reason. So I'm gonna have to have this sucker sent in and I don't know, replaced with a gold one at some point. But yeah, man, looking good, sounding good, digging the upgrades, and great to have you on the show tonight, man.
Thank you very much. Can't wait to see what we're getting into. It looks like a pretty full room tonight. Yeah.
Oh, we're jam packed. Look at us. Look at us. We can barely fit on the screen. All right. That leads us to the one and only, the very lovely curator of all things Whiskey Tango Foxtrot on the interwebs. Lovely Spore. Welcome to the show. How you doing tonight?
Thanks. I'm happy to be here. It's nice to see you again, Ruckus, though I have to say it was better in person last week. I mean, what a great experience. We love you, and that was just amazing to be in your actual physical present last week, but it's good to see you right now as well.
Oh, I miss you guys too already.
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna have to get together.
Neighbors.
Yeah, we'll be getting together and doing that again real soon here. All right, Spore. Well, we're gonna do the thing. So, what are we gonna break the ice with tonight?
Oh, lots of great ideas in the icebreaker section. Special ones from even Ruckus and a new member of our Discord, Sugar, sent me some really good ones too. But I had to go with the one that Sound sent through. The title of this is Virtual Tesla Suit Could Make Sex in Metaverse Possible. So this is from Zero Hedge. Virtual reality suit maker Tesla Suit has a human to digital interface full body suit with 90 electrodes designed to trick the body into feeling anything from a hug to raindrops to even the impact of a gunshot. The suit user can strap on VR goggles to touch objects in the metaverse. So the inventor of this is Tesla Suit VP Paul Nikias. And by the way, this has nothing to do with the Elon Musk Tesla. It's just, he's just using that word Tesla suit, I think probably for marketing reasons.
So clever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he told the Daily Star, quote, "The Tesla suit works via biometry, haptics, and motion capture, with the wearer being calibrated via a gaming PC, so can be propelled into extended or virtual reality. Obviously, the use cases are truly far-reaching, from medical rehabilitation to training for dangerous work scenarios in a safe-to-fail environment. We are extremely excited about how the technology can be utilized for all aspects of the metaverse, from gaming, training, to now fashion." And then the article goes on to how it can be used for sexual and erogenous ends in the near future. So
I knew it. I knew this was all leading to pornography. I had a feeling this was leading to pornography of some sort, Spore.
Well, I guess your intuitions were on point.
There you go. Well, if anyone has seen that show Upload, I think that is a Amazon show, if I recall, on the Amazon streaming service. But there's a show called Upload where this plays a major part in the plot of the show. A suit like this, I think they had a different name for it, but yeah, it was for intimate contact inside of a metaverse, sort of non-reality, virtual reality. The one in that show looked a lot creepier than this one, Spore. This looks like some sort of wannabe superhero costume or something. So I'll give it to these guys on the aesthetic here. They did a little bit better than the sci-fi show did.
Yeah, on Upload, she was wearing sort of like it was like almost like a puffy plastic bag, and she had to like lay inside of a bathtub full of water to get the sensations from her dead husband. In the metaverse.
All right. Well, we've been waiting for this. We've seen the individual products. We've covered a lot of I don't know, cyber, VR, dildonic, tele sort of technologies over the years as we've seen them come out. Always good for a laugh and a cringe. But we've been waiting on the suit here. We've been waiting on the suit forever, Ruckus. So there you go. You've got your full haptic suit. You can get shot by a fake bullet, hit by a fake lightsaber, or maybe hopped on by a fake hooker. I don't know.
This is wild. You guys ever hear that thing like where if you're like having a dream and you die in your dream, like you can die in real life or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Okay.
dreamscape paradox, right?
Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing is bizarre to me. I don't want to feel a gunshot.
Right? Who
What
would
the
wa- why would
hell?
why would anybody want to feel that? Like, why is that within the range? Okay, it goes from hugs to raindrops to a gun wound.
Oh, and just for fun, you can feel what it's like to be stabbed multiple times. You can probably fall off that cliff because that's what I usually remember. Like you fall off a cliff and you don't wake up before you land. Then so now you'll feel what it feels like when you hit the ground. The experience inside video games and virtual reality and metaverses are very immersive and more so than just a physical thing. So when you add this physical element, I wouldn't be surprised if it's extreme enough, people could have like cardiac arrests or whatnot. Especially if they, are prone to the numerous things that are coming out of the CDC, that long list of things that cause heart attacks, except for pharmaceutical drugs and jabs. Of course, those things are totally safe and effective. We all know this. The science, copyright trademarked, teaches us this. So I'm not talking about that. Use your judgment there if you like your own way, people. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Know what I mean? Um, I think the next piece of this puzzle is going to be to record people's memories, and then we're full on into this movie. I enjoyed this one back in the day. Did you guys ever see Strange Days?
Yeah, I believe I did.
Yeah, it sounds familiar, but I don't remember.
Ray Fiennes. How do you say that guy's name?
Yeah, I'm not
You know,
sure, but I
and
know he.
Angela Bassett, she was in it. It's a good movie. But
Mhm.
they had like this like squid, I think they call it, or something that they would put on people's skulls that would record their actual, like, the brain impulses and their memories, and then you would wear the one yourself and play it back, so you could experience what it was like to say if you were a man, what it would be like to be a woman, and what it feels like to do things as a woman, if you know what I mean. But then there was like this snuff subculture, people where people would die, and so people would wear these things, and then you could experience what it's like to die. So all of this stuff is just bizarre and creepy. And maybe there's a lot of good things they could do with this, therapeutical things to help folks out if they have like PTSD or whatnot. There's probably a million therapeutic uses for this that are very good. I'm sure it'd be really cool for entertainment, obviously, but also for educational purposes. I'm sure that's pretty neat. Yet we all know, as you already alluded to, Asher, for the vast majority, this is just all about the porn, you know. So, and to be fair, I think that as is out of the box, it might work actually okay for the women, in a way. But I'm like, yeah, what's this gonna do for the guys down there? If you catch my meaning, I mean, unless it's like, they would have to have a special sleeve or pocket or like, I don't know, use your imagination. I'm not going there.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
sure there's special
there's
special
gonna
nooks and crannies for whatever your likings might be, you
there's gonna
know?
be a full range of adapters, folks.
Mhm.
You're gonna be able to adapt to whatever fantasy you're looking for here. I am sure. It also strikes me that there are a lot of strange proclivities out there that a lot of us may not notice as normal. There's, for example, there are people that are into masochism. They're into like feeling some pain. So I'm wondering like what the haptic thresholds are on this, because if you're used to like gaming on your gamepad or whatever, you can kind of set the dead zone thresholds and that kind of stuff. So I'm wondering if you can set this sucker up if you're a real sick puppy to like, punch me in the face or
That's
something like that. Squeeze them.
That's a good point, actually. That's really disturbing to realize that this will give, free reign to people's absolute darkest perversions because it'll be okay because it's not in real life, right? But what is that going to do to people psychologically and to society in general? I think this is absolutely frightening, actually. Dang it. These icebreakers are supposed to be light and funny, and it always turns dark.
Well, I mean, you're spot on there, though, and it's something we've been talking about for a long time. This is still destruction of the family. We've been talking about this for years. Like, I mean, we already have, these people growing up in a generation where they've been cut off from hanging out with their fellow, school students for a couple of years. They've been scared of them because of these virus or these whatever several viruses. And now it's already gotten to the point where a lot of teenagers and young people are feeling very secluded, and they get wrapped up in their online games or internet stuff, and they're having a hard time having real in-person relationships. And this is just sort of a false band-aid that they can put on to make them feel like that they're having those experiences of like what they see like other people having on, TV shows, movies, Instagram, or whatever, So it's just like a little wedge in there to give them temporary comfort, but to keep them from having like actual real relationships that might develop into, long-lasting families and fathers and mothers and children and grandkids. Sad.
Yeah, hyper escapism in the metaverse. It's coming closer here. We can see. I wonder how much one of these is going to cost. Like, what does it cost eventually to get a completely kitted out metaverse setup? Because not only do you have your eye computers, your goggles, whatever, your hand devices, and your suit, your haptic suit, but then you come up with the issue of you're stuck on a floor, you're stuck in the 3D stationary 3D space. So I have seen some of these other devices that look like I don't know, sort of like a combination of a trampoline and a treadmill. It has like a border around it, and you can move around on it, walk. You can like walk in a stationary way, move side to side. So there is that whole motion aspect of it that needs to be tackled also. But I gotta wonder, like, how elite does a gamer or a metaverser have to be? At what point are all these tools available and someone can get fully kitted out? Is that going to be $1,000? Is it going to be $10,000? Like, what are we looking at here? I gotta wonder.
It's going to be a reward for being a good global citizen and having a great social credit score and a low carbon footprint.
Yeah,
Oh,
you'll be able to rent it.
hmm
Rent
Oh.
the special suit that other people are going to be doing their prawn in. You get it in a month because you did good. You got that good credit score, and then somebody else gets it next month.
You turned in
So-
your next door neighbor for being a MAGA terrorist, so you get to use the sex suit for 30 minutes.
there you go.
Woo!
It's cleaned well between.
So if I'm a good hashtag global citizen, then I might get to rent my haptic suit and my metaverse setup from Klaus Schwab or George Soros or some Silicon Valley luminary. Perhaps they'll let me have it. It'd be like Ready Player One. I could live in my little container box with my metaverse setup, and I'll be happy, right? I rent it all, and I'll be happy.
Who knew that when they said that they didn't mean you'll be happy, they meant you'll have a happy ending.
You'll owe nothing and get a happy ending as long as you're a good global citizen. Well, speaking of being good global citizens, did you guys hear what's going on in the Netherlands? A Dutch city becomes the world's first to ban meat adverts in public. So this place is called Haarlem, two A's, Haarlem. This move is part of efforts to cut consumption after meat was found to contribute to climate crisis. Can you believe it? Can you believe it, you guys? Meat causing the climate crisis. So no more advertising. I wonder how that works out for like all the fast food places. I guess they can only advertise Beyond Burgers or Impossible Burgers or something. I don't know. This is really weird.
As if fast food uses real meat. Come on. Hello.
Yeah, well, it's not good meat, that's for sure, but I think it's still animal product of some sort. So yeah, this was posted by food.lies on IG. Prime Minister Mark Rutte is certainly doing his part to destroy animal agriculture in the Netherlands. If you don't know what's going on with the Dutch farmers, it's time for some internet searching. Yep, that's true. He had a great career at one point at one of the world's biggest processed food companies, also including cleaning agents, beauty products, and personal care products. You can find out more about him on the World Economic Forum website. Great guy, I'm sure. Uh, so there you go. Big called him out. Food Lies called out Prime Minister Mark Rutte over there as this Dutch city becomes the world's first to ban meat advertisements. But we're just going to keep banning stuff. We just want to find more stuff to ban, huh, Ruckus? There's just too many things in this world that need to be banned. We just need to ban a lot more shit.
Only in the name of science or the climate. I could get behind that. Who couldn't get behind that, right? You know,
Yeah, saving the
um,
planet.
I think everyone's going to be worried about the amount of electricity that's being banned come this winter when they're trying to stay warm. I think that's probably the biggest one as far as bans go.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard that the who was it? I don't have the article up in front of me, but I think I heard it during one of the TNT breaks. I think it might have been Truss. Someone said, "Don't worry, we're gonna put a cap on the energy bills." Here is either EU or UK. I'm not sure exactly where, but we'll just say it was in the UK. We're gonna put a cap on the energy bills at $2,500. $2,500. Are you kidding me? So what? Energy is going to be more than mortgage or a rent? I mean, that's just pure madness, man.
Well, I want to just say back to the original point there that banning advertisement for meat, like this is so outrageous because I mean, immediately I'm thinking of all these things that were being pushed on, every streaming service, every cable station, every news source, pretty much for the most part. Pharmaceuticals that have killed people, products like, you mentioned earlier today, Peloton, there's so many things out there, automobiles cause so many deaths. But meat, we can't let them advertise. But yeah, we can advertise all your Smirnoff whatevers or alcohol products and all the junk food that's making people end up in dealing with diabetes and shit like that.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't forget all the medical pharmaceutical products they can just advertise
I thought they
endlessly.
said that in there. Yeah, that's the biggest one.
So the ban is just on advertising. So they're not saying you can't serve meat or eat meat or sell meat, right? It's just
Yeah.
you can't advertise it.
But why would you not be able to advertise that when we have all these other insidious, like, like Pfizer commercials and things like that that can be.
It's a good point, but it's very strange. I mean, it's not like meat is disappearing. It's not like people don't know what meat is and that it's not, available out there, right? To a certain degree, at least. It's very odd, because like I remembered back in the day, they used to do all those milk commercials. Remember, milk
Oh,
it
yeah.
does a body good.
Good.
Right. And I always thought when I was a kid and kind of more younger and naive, I was like, what's the point of that? If it's that good for your body, isn't that an obvious thing? Why do you need to pay money to have an ad that says, drink milk? Well, later on in life, I of course realized that those ads were very expensive ones and, very well done from a marketing and branding perspective. Excellent commercials, great campaign, got milk and all that fun stuff, right? But it was because the Dairy Farmers Association, all of the people who produce the milk got together to promote it because people just weren't drinking enough of it. And to be honest, they could care less if it was good for you or not. They just needed to sell more of it. And I used to joke all the time that we don't see commercials for got air, breathe oxygen. It's good for you, right? So instead, we see what you're alluding to is paid for ads from for terrible things that are not good for your bodies, including food that is passed off as meat sometimes. For instance, I was joking about fast food, but there's everyone knows all the jingles, blah, da, 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 and all that stuff. You're loving it, whatever. But you know, and they'll do the commercials that promote a vegan lifestyle. They'll have the propaganda throughout the media, throughout the entertainment, the movies, even games and books and all of that stuff. But there's meat eaters don't do that. They don't go out there and say like, hey, folks, eat meat. It's good for you. We have people like Tristan Haggard who do this kind of on the underground alternative level, people who are seeking that, right? But we don't have like, I don't see an instance where there's a big, maybe back in the day, now that I think of it, there was the beef. It's what's for dinner, which was paid by the farmers again. That's interesting. Wow. Okay. But I don't see how this is a scary thing until they stop selling it, but
Yeah, you can kind of see where it's headed though here. Check this out. If you look at the article, it says the ban also covers holiday flights, fossil fuels, cars that run on fossil fuels. The ban is delayed until 2024 due to existing contracts with companies that sell the products. But I mean, so if they're going to start with banning us, essentially seeing it in the media, I guess, or seeing it on billboards and whatnot. But that just makes it easier to do away with it altogether. You know what I mean? In their minds, I assume that
did you?
is.
I'm sorry, Hesher. Can you pull that back up? Did you see that part? This is very telling. This is amazing. This is interesting. It said that if we can't tell people there's a climate crisis and encourage them to buy products that are a part of the cause, they're acting as if this is some sort of conflict of interest. They're just spelling it out right there. Look at this. This is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. What a mess. What a mess. It looks like we got Infidel Pharaoh joining us. Infidel, welcome to the boiler room. How are you, my man?
I'm doing fantastic, my friend. How are you?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. We're hanging out, seeing what's in the media tonight, seeing what's going around. We came across this article here. Dutch city becomes world's first to ban meat adverts in public. So I don't know what to make of that, but it's got a weird sniff to it.
Uh, so, uh, so what are they banning? So, like, you cannot say I have meat. Like, what about grocery store? Can you walk into a grocery store and see like meat aisle? Are they banning like someone typing meat aisle or like?
Right. No, that's a great question. That's a great question. Where do we draw the line? How do we define what an advertisement is? What an advert? Because if it's just a directional, hamburger this way, does that count? Or is it just like, I'm not sure. It's really strange that they're going for this. It says adverts will not be allowed on buses, shelters, or screens in public places in Haarlem, home to 160,000 people. So, I don't know.
It's really interesting, man, because like it seemed that the Dutch government is just doing a lot of like really policies right now that is just destroying their main asset, which is agriculture and dairy farms and meat production, animal production. And there is, I know we don't hear about it here in US, like, but that whole farmer uprising in the Netherlands, it's a big deal. And it's sad to see like that, like bunch of crazy ideologues that successfully got into the government and now pushing for this like mad green agenda and just destroying 30% of the farmland of that nation. And pretty much soon will starve people. Like how like number one, they will destroy the economy, and two, those people will starve. So it I'm just baffled right now with European politicians. Like all the policies from whether UK or Germany with their like energy policies of going and like closing nuclear reactors and depending on gas, and now they go and ban the Russian gas, and now they go and indirectly buy Russian gas from other through proxy countries was like double the price.
Yeah, from like China.
I know. It's just, I'm like, who are these people? Like it's just amazing. Like, I don't know if you guys have been following this, but there have been a lot of protests throughout Europe that last weekend, and this is just the beginning. It's just going to continue with that hit of inflation, with all these green policies that they are pushing, and the madness of like anti-Russia and using that to really push for their green agenda. And this is just going to keep intensifying. I mean, I don't think people are satisfied, and it just but of course you don't hear anything about it here because it's just, you know,
Right.
because it's US. But I don't know. It's interesting. So I'm not surprised that they are trying to ban meat, given all the other policies they're putting. I mean,
Right. Well,
they're trying
yeah,
to cut
'cause
hydrogen production by what, like 20%, or I forgot the number, but that's
half, dude. Check this out. Well, look at this. Here's just one of the more recent articles that came up just in a quick search. Everybody, hopefully you've been following this and knowing it's been going on for a while here, but here's one out of New York Times. Dairy farmers in the Netherlands are up in arms over emission cuts. Goals of cutting nitrogen emissions in half by 2030 have caused an uproar in the Netherlands. And of course, climate activists say the cuts are necessary to preserve nature. But yeah, dairy farmers in the Netherlands have had enough. They've set fire to hay and manure along the highways, dumped trash on the roads to create traffic jams, blockaded food distribution centers with their tractors. Some of this has led to empty shelves in supermarkets across the country, upside down flags waved from farmhouses in protest. The anger of the farmers is directed at the government, which has announced plans for a national 50% reduction of nitrogen emissions by 2030, in line with the European Union requirements to preserve protected nature reserves that they believe unfairly targets them. Factories and cars also emit large amounts of nitrogen and have not been targeted, they say. Although the government has said that cuts associated with both polluters would be addressed in the future. So, agriculture is responsible for the largest share of nitrogen emissions in the Netherlands, much of it from waste produced by an estimated 1.6 million cows that provide milk used to make the country's famed cheeses and blah, blah, blah. And the farmers are basically saying, I could go on here, but farmers are basically saying this isn't going to work. This is going to put us out of business. So, in the Netherlands, that's what the farmers are saying is going to happen. That's why they're protesting. So the fact that certain towns, certain Dutch towns are like, well, we're not going to allow advertisements for meat anymore. That's pretty small potatoes compared to what the big story is there, which is what Infidel was just pointing out. And this is an ongoing thing. And you're right, man. We don't hear about it here much. It's almost like it's not happening.
It is not, because indirectly the Biden administration is doing a lot of underground policies right now. I mean, why do you think they are trying to blame the gas prices on Russia, but it is not Russia. It's this current administration policies of shutting pipelines, of getting us from being an energy independent nation during Trump era and even exporting energy, to being now going around and like going to Iran or Venezuela and try to like freaking like buy oil from them. And it just all those bad policies and all this mad green policies that they are ideologues are so consumed with it. It's just going to destroy this nation. I mean, look at what California is doing. Like, look at the ban that they are trying to do for electric cars, right? And sorry, a ban for gas cars. It's not that their grid is already shitty enough. Now they want to overload it with electric cars. So yeah, you might not get electricity like 2 days of the week, but hey, you're going to be able to charge your car. I don't know where, because you're going to have like 2 days without electricity. So they might be running out of charge pretty quickly. But maybe they just want to limit your mobility. Maybe they don't want you to go around. They just want you to be just sitting at home in a lockdown and just I'm going anywhere. I see Ruckus trying to mess up with his AC, dude. Like, don't like. I can be charging my electric car right now. Is what this power you're sucking from me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Here, check this out, man. Boom. There it is. California, the first state to make electric cars mandatory. Now it's telling owners not to charge them.
What?
Isn't this? Yeah. Yeah. So, they've got crazy heat going on the West Coast right now. Shout out to all our West Coast listeners out there. Hope everybody's staying cool. California approved a plan last week to end the sale of new gasoline powered cars by 2035, making it the first state to try to switch exclusively to electric and other ZE vehicles, zero emission. But now state officials are telling drivers not to charge their electric cars during the Labor Day weekend when temperatures are expected to hit triple digits for millions of residents, putting a strain on the power grid. So they're telling people to avoid charging their EVs over that long weekend, especially from 9 p.m. or 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. when the grid experiences highest demand because of the air conditioning and stuff like that. So just days after California said, "Hey, we're going to change. We're gonna outlaw traditional cars here, or at least the sale of them. I don't think they'll be able to outlaw them, but they're going to stop the sale of traditional hydrocarbon powered cars by 2035." And then just days later, they say, "Oh, the energy grid can't really afford handle everybody charging their electric cars here." Can you believe that? Before they've even enacted anything like this.
It's crazy. It's really crazy. It's just,
I mean, it is just like announce something stupid and then show the public why it's stupid just days later. I mean, and you're right about not being able to travel. That's such a major factor. I played a clip this morning on TNT about that. And that's exactly where this heads. And people were starting to point out, like everybody's starting to notice, Infidel. It's like, what if I have a fucking emergency? What if my kid falls and breaks his arm, or what if I chop my thumb off cutting onions or something like that, and it's hot outside and I wasn't able to charge my Tesla that I somehow magically had $70,000 to go buy.
yeah. So how is California generating the electricity right now? Can we look this up?
They have a combination of hydro, of wind, of solar, but for the most part, it's a lot of coal fire, I believe.
Coal, right?
I believe so.
They're still building coal to generate electricity.
Yeah, somebody would have to fact check me on that. I haven't looked that up lately to see what the distribution is there, but I'm pretty sure it's a combination. I don't know if the nuclear plants are still running there or not. It seems like they did have at least a couple of them still going. I'm sure there's a power nerd out there in the chat that can let us know. But yeah, I think it's a hybrid setup, and they've been slacking. Edison and PG&E have been slacking when it comes to upgrading the equipment. That fire in Paradise, I was just talking about that with a guest today on TNT. Pretty sure that fire right there was largely due to outdated infrastructure. So,
So here I got the statistics 2021. So 66.4 from non-renewable, coal 3%, natural gas 37, nuclear 9%, hydro 9.2, unspecified 6.8. I don't know what's unspecified. Are they burning humans or what? I have no idea. Geothermal, and then from renewables it's 33. So from solar is 14%, wind 11%. So 66 are coming from non-renewables, and they are at that capacity. Imagine that they want to scale now renewables even more. Like there's just no plan. There's just no logic and no plan with these guys.
No, it's total madness. It's like everybody's starting to realize, hold on a second, this just all equates to forced austerity. This will play into the supply chain problems. It will play into the inflation problems. It's going to play into so many things, and I don't know what to say, you guys. I don't know what to say. At least some people are starting to get it here. The man on the street is starting to get it. From the newscast interviews that I watched today, it was like, all right, well, at least they're finding people at the gas station and the pumps that are saying stuff like that. What about work travel? That was another one that came up. What about when I have to? So many people travel to go to work, fly to go to work. They get to a place, they have to rent a car because they need to be at a conference or they need to be at a training session or they need to be at a presentation of some sort. What are we going to tell them when they land in California, right? Like, Infidel, what happens when a few years from now, you have to fly to California for a conference or something like that, and you get there and you're told, well, welcome to Hertz Rent a Car, but yeah, our EVs are all sold out, and well, we've got this one over here, but it's not charged. You could wait for it to charge. You plug it into a 220 outlet. You got to wait about 6 to 8 hours for it to charge. So just hang out, miss your conference. That could cause a huge problem for a lot of work travelers, I would think.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's unrealistic. And electric cars, it's fine driving in town, but going outside, it just any driving more than like 1 hour a day, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You're gonna waste big chunk of your daily time just sitting there charging your damn cars, even with their Tesla fast charging.
Yeah, you'll be lucky to find a Tesla fast charger if you have one at your house. Great, but what about when you're out and about? Okay, so Session Jones in the chat says mostly natural gas. Okay, so LNG is a primary source of power in California, but it is not enough to run the state. That's for sure.
Yep.
That is for sure. And
There's-
I believe it takes the process of harvesting and refining LNG ends up taking up a lot of traditional hydrocarbon fuel in the process also.
Yep.
Smokestack had some eye-opening and interesting things to say about LNG in the last couple episodes of Mystical American Patriot Society, so I encourage folks to go check that out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Is there anything you want to try to summarize? Okay, yeah.
Absolutely not. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
they get real deep on that
They're
stuff.
so
folks.
good. Again, I highly encourage and point the listeners to check that out. So I just have to say I'm very upset with you, both of you, Hesher and Infidel. You guys are sitting here arguing about gas cars versus electric cars. Do you know which car I have? That would be no car. So I am the OG pro climate activist. I'm the one that they used to be like, hey, why do you need to use a car? Why don't you just walk or bike? It's better for the environment. Well, okay, I'll tell you what, folks, I do that. Let me tell you how lovely that is. I had to go to the grocery store the other day. So here I am saving the environment by not having a car, a gas guzzling beast, whatever. Not even an electric car, because as we know, you need to charge those using some other form of fuel. So I'm doing my part, and I just use my good old Chevrolet legs to power my bicycle to get me to the grocery store. Well, as such, I can't buy that much. I can only basically buy whatever I can carry back home on my bicycle, which is usually going to fit inside of my backpack. And I usually know that that's the same amount of stuff I can fit in one of those handheld cart things, right? That you walk around with that in your hand instead of the push carts. Well, an interesting and funny thing happened to the whole procedure of purchasing groceries lately, and I have to back up for a second. Just before the pandemic, they decided to do away with plastic bags in the name of the environment. And that made my shopping experience a little more difficult. Then the pandemic came around and they decided, you know what? Since we have to stop every 5 seconds to clean these stupid carts, we're just going to hide them and get rid of them. So the stores don't even have those handheld carts anymore. Okay. And I got sick and tired of having to push around one of those real carts and accidentally purchasing too much that then I had trouble getting home. I decided instead to bring my own shopping bag, which they encourage there at the stores as well to help save the environment, reduce, reuse, recycle. They sell them in the store. So I'm walking around the store the other day with my bag, putting items inside my shopping bag, and I got what's called LP'd. That stands for loss prevention. Some busybody woman who works there came up and was like, and I'm not making this up. She was like, "Are you going to pay for that?" And I'm like, "What? I seen you putting all your stuff in the bag, your bag. Are you going to pay for that? Or are you just going to walk out the door with that?" And I'm just like, I'm in clean clothes. I don't look homeless. All I'm doing is all the right things as a good global citizen here, right? But I was getting like judged and discriminated against just because I don't have a car, So, again, I think you guys need to acknowledge your privilege that you don't have to endure any of that.
Well, I will first acknowledge your stellar carbon footprint, Ruckus. I mean, great job. That is amazing. You're going through it for the planet here. But yeah, isn't that amazing the way the word and thought police have sort of seeped into real life here? I mean, gosh, after all the public conflicts of 2020 and 2021, you would think people would chill the hell out when it comes to doing this sort of
It
good
gets
global
better.
citizen policing.
It gets better, folks. I actually wound up spending a good amount of money there. So first of all, if I were to storm out angry, that business would have lost out on that money just because the way they treated me. But after I did all of that, endured all of that, paid for my groceries, got it all situated, as soon as I had all that heavy stuff in my backpack and was walking out the door, the same lady rushed right past me and hopped into the car with either her boyfriend or her husband. It was a beautiful, brand new, like to the nines kind of like Mustang. It was like an incredibly beautiful, gorgeous, expensive car. And I'm just like, really? Oh, come on, dude. Stab me in the back there. Wow.
Yeah, you're the suspect person in society, huh? All right. Way to do the social shaming. My goodness. Yeah, that's so stupid, dude. It's like all this, like, we're gonna ban this, we're gonna ban that. They ban the plastic straws out in California, and then what do? They give you a useless paper straw in a plastic bag. It's just like, what? Which clowns from outer space are setting all this up? It's just amazing. So the queen is dead. Infidel, did you hear the queen is dead? Queen of England is dead.
I did hear that. Yeah.
Well, they're going through the mainstream media right now, and they're doing all these like, oh, here's a montage of the queen's life, blah blah blah. I'm sorry, I don't care. Anyone that had Savile in her life the way that family does, I don't know. Sorry, I'm just not really mourning the loss of the queen tonight. I really just if anything, just makes me wonder, where do lizards go when they die?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't give much there care. Um, I mean, she was 96 years old, so she lived a long life.
Yeah, Liz Truss took over for Bojo, and it caused a ripple at CERN, and Queen Lizard is gone. So that happened today. I don't really know. Yeah, go ahead.
Just I've been seeing like uh, flying like tweets around like um uh, about like BBC Radio. I guess there was like some shows that talks about like um, here. Let me see if I can pull that tweet up.
Yeah, I'm sure the Twitterverse is afire today.
Yep. Uh, BBC Radio 4 busy telling us about how the monarchy is at odds with society, which values equality, diversity, inclusivity, while the monarchy is about white inherited privilege at odds with our multi faith, multi ethnic society.
Oh, okay. Oh, take that, England, the UK, and the woke culture has finally taken notice that the British monarchy is a little bit sus.
So interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Funny how that works. Funny how these things get aimed at just certain pieces of the culture, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, wait a minute, what
At
about
least
the
they
monarchy?
at least they have Meghan Merkel now.
Yeah, really.
I mean, she's the only hope of color into that whole family.
Uh-huh.
Not even that color.
Yeah, really. I know, kind of pseudo.
I noticed some of the American talking heads, in the news, they were actually wearing black in mourning.
Well, Spore
So
asked me earlier, she said, what color hat was the queen wearing when she died, though? That's the big question. Because if you'll notice throughout the years on Sunday Wire, Basil in particular has always been interested in what color the queen's hat is going to be at this next showing of the queen. He was always like, I think it's because there must be a betting pool about it. I'm guessing he's interested in that because there's some subsection of the betting pool where one can actually put a bet on what color the queen's hat is going to be. But yeah, I'm thinking you might have it right. The mainstream might have it right there, Ruckus. Black. It's the day of black.
I love this is actually a fine example of evidence or proof where people would understand this, but then you're like, oh no. You can see all of this news that's come out and all the images and I mean, these things are rolling out. It's because they plan this stuff ahead. They know, this person's in their 90s. They're probably going to pass away soon, so let's have everything ready. They don't just come up with this stuff overnight. That's why it's so well produced and slickly made, and how like within a few hours they can have like, here's an hour-long special dedicated to the life of so-and-so who just suddenly, mysteriously, shockingly died, and you're like, oh, hold on a second, right? Well, they did the same thing with, a lot of these, bigger events that take place in the news. So I don't know how much of it is real and how much of it is planned.
Yeah, it was a little weird today. It was like I was doing a live show with TNT and I saw something about or maybe it was when I was doing sort of my news roundup check in the morning before the show. It was like, oh, something, the queen's not feeling well. Uh-oh. And then by the third hour of the show, it was like the queen is dead. It's official. I was like, whoa, that escalated quite quickly. I thought she was just not feeling well this morning, but obviously things got a little bit crazier. So we have so who's in charge now? Does that mean Charles? Charles the Third? We have now a King Charles the Third. I think that's how that works. Let's see. Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up. I got it on screen over here. There we go. There we go for my fellow Americans and non UK people wondering what happens next. Here you go. Out of New York Post. King Charles III made his first statement Thursday as the new monarch, immediately following the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, expressing his family's deep sadness over her passing. He said, the death of my beloved mother, Her Majesty the Queen, is a moment of the greatest sadness for me and all members of my family. King Charles wrote in a statement from Buckingham Palace. So there you go, King Charles. Pretty interesting. It's been
Charles in charge, you said it.
Charles in charge. Yeah. Maybe the woke mob should see about, I don't know, redistributing the land ownership of this monarchy if they don't like them for being so white and so traditional. Look at, I mean, geez, the largest land ownership on the planet, as far as I know. Even bigger than Bill Gates, bigger than Gil Bates. Can you believe that, Ruckus?
Bigger than Bill Gates?
Yeah, more land than the soy boy himself with the soy boobies. Have you seen Bill Gates's moobs? Oh my god.
Hmm. Yeah, no, she's they always had this argument about who's the richest, person, and it was like between Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. There was always this fight. When the reality is, when you look at it, the wealthiest person was, the queen. And I guess now
Queen.
the king, I would presume, King Charles. Wow,
King
interesting.
Charles. That
This is
feels
kind of
weird.
weird. I know our entire lives, the only idea of like talking about a king over there was like, in the history of our country and where we came from in our birth, that was King George, wasn't it, at the time, in the
Yeah.
Revolutionary War?
Yep.
So this is kind of strange.
Yeah.
And I would say this is not fair and not, a positive or good thing for a woke culture. I mean, we have a man in power again.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. He's gonna take some flack from the woke mob over there for sure.
Unless this is 2022,
Oh,
he could come out. He could come out, folks, and say, you know what? I was never able, or I wouldn't do this while good old mum was still alive. But I've always felt like I was a woman,
yeah.
or a
Yeah.
tree,
Well,
or a unicorn. Fill in the blank, I guess.
a tennis shoe, a
Frog.
Air Jordan.
Have you guys seen the frog video, the TikTok frog video?
No, what's going on? What's the TikTok frog video?
It's one of those like liberal of TikTok frog. I will find it for you.
All right. Yeah, yeah. Send me the link for sure. Yeah, so King Charles. I guess the queen there, she has been on the throne since she was 24 years old. Is that correct? I mean,
70
that's
years. He's been on the throne for 70 years.
that is insane. That is insane, man. I get uppity about Nancy Pelosi and people like that having been in our political system for too many years, and it's like, boy, I got to hand it to the queen. Take my black hat off to the queen here for
And she did some sort of creepy, like druidic ceremony thing. You can find all sorts of information and pictures online.
like to do with her demise or like earlier.
No, when she was coronated queen, way
Oh,
back
okay, at the
when. Way
coronation.
back when.
Yeah, yeah.
When she
So
was that young, I mean, you look at these pictures, you wouldn't have no idea who that was unless they, you're like, she was kind of pretty actually back then.
She was hot. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
hot.
She was a very attractive young woman.
I saw her.
I presume she identified as a woman since she called herself queen.
I saw one video of her like shooting like a machine gun. That was hot.
that's always hot. All right,
But,
let's see.
but just to your point, Ruckus, like people are claiming that actually, like some people claiming that Putin is the richest man, is actually the richest man in the world, but it's just undisclosed. But he is the richest person. It's not Musk or Bezos.
Interesting.
Putin.
It's fake news. I'm the richest man in the world. You guys just didn't know it.
It's not about money, man. It's about just what you feel inside. I'm the richest man, just how I feel.
I'm rich for knowing you fine folks.
Ah,
He's rich for being carbon neutral also. Be favored by the global elite for being carbon neutral. Ruckus is the original carbon neutral.
he's gonna get 10 social credits pretty soon.
I get 30 minutes with the sex suit. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Probably-
here you go.
Probably lose 5 points for being on this broadcast, but you can get it back. All right, Infidel, I got this video link here. It looks atrocious. What am I going to be looking at? Better seen than explained, perhaps. All right. Well, let's see here. I guess I'll roll it. I'll roll it sight unseen. We'll see how it goes. What is this?
Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use frog's pronouns in sentences, so let's go! Frog's pronouns, that sounds so cool! Ding, ding, ding. And that's because it is cool, because that means that the person that's using these neo-pronouns is saying super curious about frog self and wants to know more about frog self. And I, as a non-neo-pronoun user, respect the hell out of that, because that takes so much courage. I just wanted to mention that. You don't need my approval. But anyway, Frog is such a great person. Frog's smile is so contagious. In fact, I saw Frog make a whole audience smile. I think Frog should be very proud of Frog self. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use frog's pronouns in sentences.
Oh, please make it stop. Oh my God. Okay. Well, you know what? I got to say, I think I could deal with that a little bit better than using a plural when I'm trying to describe one person. Like if I was going to play along with the pronoun alphabet soup and skullduggery, I would prefer to say something random like frog than they to describe one person in a sentence. But I don't know. I don't feel like I should have to go there. But good job, sport. Good job with the video there, sport. That's what I'm going to call everybody that I can't figure out now anymore. I'm just going to call you sport. You know, I don't really. You don't want anybody to be interested in your gender. That's fine, sport.
I presume that person right there, frog, identifies as a frog.
No, they have
Frog
contagious
certainly
one.
thinks very highly of Frog's self, doesn't Frog?
Never mind. I don't even like it any better than they think highly of them their self because they is a very smart individual. Frog they person.
This is
But
so funny because the boiling frog thing has been coming up in conversation a lot lately.
Infidel, go ahead, man. You were gonna say.
no, I was just gonna say. I mean, in English, like the use of like they pronouns is it also used for to show like high honor, like that is like you're not just a regular person. Like if someone was like higher ranks, they can refer to themselves as they. That's also the case in English because it's the same in Arabic. Like if like you're like a king or something, you can actually refer to yourself as they because you're higher than just one person. I don't know if that's same in English or not.
You've eclipsed my knowledge of my own language here. I'm gonna say I don't think so, but
Okay.
maybe there is a case for that. I mean, for me, it's pretty much just like when you're talking about more than one person in a sentence and using pronouns to describe those people. Uh, but yeah, there might be a case to be made for that. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm going to say no.
All right. Okay. Well, let's see here. Infidel. So today I spoke with a guy named Tyler Nixon on my show, and he was interesting. He used to be Roger Stone's lawyer.
Mhm.
Very interesting cat. You should check that one out, man. I think you would be interested in it. He's totally clued in. I keep finding these people that are sort of mainstream adjacent or straight up, very well known in the mainstream, who are not afraid to say things like, "Hey, we're getting fed propaganda 24/7." Like it's actually adding a little bit. Speaking of the blue pill, white pill, red pill, blue pill paradigm. It's actually adding a little bit of white pill to my attitude to note that we're starting to see people move over to independent media and start talking about the state of the world in a similar manner to the way that we have for years over here in the boiler room.
Yeah, that's interesting. What's his name, Hasher?
His name is Tyler Nixon.
And he used to be his lawyer.
Yeah. So he knows Roger Stone pretty well, and
So like the latest case where he was they put him to jail.
yeah, where they did the raid on him back in 2016, 17, something like that.
Mm.
Yeah, he's very versed in all that stuff. It was pretty interesting to hear his take on the country, the direction of the country, the whole thing. It was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
fascinating.
I'll check it out. I'm sure that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was fun. Let's see here.
So there is the majestic we. It's called the majestic we or the majestic plural. It's used in English. It's called
Okay, all right.
royal we.
Okay, the royal we. I've heard that phrase before.
Yeah, that's when you use plural pronouns.
So really only for royalty.
Royalty, yes.
Isn't that synchronistic that we would come to that on just a random.
Using the majestic plural indicates power and greatness.
Okay.
Its Western usage is said for people who have authority, such as popes, bishops, and monarchs. Often, people of low rank would use this device when speaking to someone in an official capacity.
All right. Well, the boiler room is here, and they are here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and they have run out of bubble gum. So there you go.
think I'm gonna call myself the pronounce of dickhead. My friend.
There you go. There you go.
We are not amused.
And we are not a biologist either. We have no idea what a woman is. You know what?
Have you guys seen the Memphis shooting?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that one looked like somebody snapped, went mental, did some crazy stuff, tried to get himself suicided by cop and take some people down with him on the way, huh?
Yeah, and did you see him smiling when he got caught? He must have been high on drugs or something. That dude, like, but of course, like mainstream media, you don't hear about it because he's a man of color, so it is not a good political case to put in the mainstream media. But
Yeah.
I was looking at some really like reports. I saw that video of a reporter. Actually, she lives in Memphis, and she was actually crying because not necessarily about this incident alone, but she's talking about like how in Memphis right now there's just a lot of kidnapping and just shooting and just crime there is just rampage, and it's just the city just went to shit. That's where things are in Memphis.
Do you guys have one of those Soros backed DAs in Memphis? Is that one of those municipalities where they're not prosecuting people for crimes anymore?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but Memphis has always been like one of those cities that is just ran by liberals. So I'm sure it's some kind of shitty policy where they're just not tough on crime.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with in a lot of states. I've kind of been tracking this on my show. There's a whole bunch of cities out there that have DAs that were elected on open society money and stuff like that, and they have just completely changed everything. I mean, they're the people that basically allowed the lawlessness of uh, the George Floyd incident and the BLM stuff in 2020 and 2021 was these kind of policies, and they're what's making it such that they've got retail theft rings now that just walk into places and steal luxury stuff, or people just walking into Walmarts and Walgreens and CVS's and stuff and just putting whatever they want in their bags. That's probably why Ruckus got hassled. People have been seeing that in the news. They see people just filling bags with stuff and walking out. Like that's become a normal thing now to see in the news. So
I'm glad you brought that up because that's where I wanted to be fair about this. I realized that when I was having a conversation about my experience with a friend of mine, and he was like, "Well, I don't think it was necessarily you, because yeah, I used to work in that business, and there's nothing about my behavior that would have warranted an LP walk on me. But I was like, maybe they're just in general experiencing more of that happening, and so I think it's just a sign of the times that crime
yeah.
is just increasing everywhere. Even here at my local grocery store that I shop at frequently, because I do go there frequently, at least once or twice a week, because I can only buy so much when I go. So
Mhm.
I'm a frequent shopper there, let's just say.
The chat room is suggesting that you rent a truck once a month and stock up. Maybe we'll get there. I don't know. It's good exercise though, keeps us limber. But yeah, man, that's all pretty crazy. And this guy, he would have been in jail. He already was convicted of violent crimes, and they must have the same kind of DA there, man, because it's the same game plan. It's the same exact treatment that we see in Los Angeles, like where they've got DA Gaston there, who they've tried to recall. They actually had a good recall on him, but it didn't go through, much like the Newsom recall. And they're doing the same stuff over there in California. They called it Prop 47. They passed this proposition, and it's basically turned a whole lot of felonies into misdemeanors. And when people are getting busted on them, they're getting bailed out for basically nothing. They're also letting people out very, very early. They've changed all kinds of stuff, and the crime rate is just off the charts. It's just spiking, man.
Chaos.
Yeah, yeah. Introduction of chaos. There you go. So, yeah, That was pretty crazy. And yeah, Ruckus and I were kind of chatting in the chat box during my TNT show today as we were talking a little bit about that because we both cued into the fact that the media immediately is telling people to shelter in place when there's an active incident going on, which is, it's strange. It's strange because it'd be one thing to just say, "Hey, there's something bad going on. Stay, be careful or whatever." But they have to use that shelter in place language, right? Which is very lockdown esque and literally is a lockdown if you're in your workplace or if you're in a educational facility of some sort or even a restaurant or a gym. I mean, you never know. It could be a private business, could be a corporate business. If you're in there and somebody who has the locks gets that notice and say, "Oh, we're going to shelter in place," and they take that stuff seriously, then watch out because you may literally get locked into that place.
And we're seeing some more of these terms that we learned during the pandemic popping up in other instances. For instance, I just saw something from the EU about their way they're going to tackle their electricity. They used the term "flatten the curve," and I wish I knew exactly what they were talking about, but it was not health, it was not pandemic stuff. It was related to the electricity. So I'm like, all of these little nifty tricks that we learned during the onset of the new normal really have become the new normal. We're just going to use them for all sorts of different things. So, yeah, shelter in place. Oh, why this time? Is it a pandemic? Nope. Is it a crazy guy running around shooting people? Nope. Well, why do we have to shelter in place? Putin. Okay.
Cow fart.
Cow fart. Yeah. Oh, your Hesher ate a hamburger. Everyone shelter in
Everybody
place.
duck and cover, shelter in place. Yeah.
Everybody get down. There's a bomb in my belly.
Man, I could not believe that when I woke up and I saw that one in my feed this morning. We got to flatten the curve talking about the amount of power people are using. You got to be kidding me. People, this is neurolinguistic programming writ large, just in your face, right in our faces, sitting on our faces, farting on our faces, basically using the same language, flatten the curve. Remember the last time? Remember the last time we heard that one, right? It was 2 weeks. 2 weeks to flatten the curve of COVID. And here we are, 2.5 years down the road from there, pretty much. Almost everything that we were socially rejected for, vilified for, deplatformed for, demonetized for, shadow banned for, unfriended for has now come true. I think we can unequivocally say that now. And those of us that remain organic and not genetically modified have made it through the gnarliest part of the utter campaign, the fear campaign, fear prawn campaign. Oh my gosh, it was insane. So congratulations if you made it. And if you did get genetically modified, don't worry. Just watch your health. You're gonna have to be careful because a lot of people are not doing well from the genetic modifications, from what we can tell. You should go back and check out the interview with Steve Kirsch from yesterday on my TNT show. That was really, really interesting. I think we should probably take a break in a minute here, though. Let's take a break. We're going to do an intermission over here in the boiler room, see if we can't get Ruckus all collected up and ready to run off to his next podcast. Maybe he can join us for a few minutes when we come back from the intermission here. But yeah, and we'll see if we can find Infidel Pharaoh on the other side of a break. So it's about that time. Smoke them if you got them. Ruckus, anything I'm forgetting? Anything we need to get out there into part one of this boiler room before I shut this video stream down?
I guess there's one other person who is apparently suffering health problems that we might need to be concerned about. Putin. Apparently, health experts are concerned about Putin's health because he was getting fatigued and nodding off on camera. So it couldn't possibly be that the guy's just overworked and tired. You know, there's obviously something wrong with his health, and we got to analyze every little twitch and movement of this guy's body language and determine how much longer he's got to live, yet completely ignore Dementia Joe. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I was just gonna get to that. I was like, wait a minute. Joe's falling off of bicycles and displaying seeing invisible people and losing his grasp on the English language, and then somehow standing up for the grand blood red rant and not missing a beat. Like,
I figured out how they did that, Asher.
How'd they do that?
Okay, so when I watched that, because I actually caught the one of these live streams where like it starts early and you're just waiting for like 10 to 20 minutes or whatever. So I saw them setting up some of this, and they rolled in front of the podium that big. It was like a large, what I was presuming is a bulletproof glass shield screen right in front of them, and then they walked out of the Independence Hall and right up to that thing. And there were some camera views going on, but as soon as they got in front of that podium, there were no longer any other camera views from the sides. So I believe that once they got up behind that podium, that glass is one of those special like Google Glass things, and suddenly it's like a two-way mirror or whatever. Now we can't see the Biden standing behind it. They go into off mode and just like stare off into nothing, and then like it was a pre-recorded fake thing right there, just aired off of this screen that was right in front of them. Figured it out.
Interesting. All right. Very intriguing. Wow. How about that? Okay. Well, Infidel Pharaoh, I see that you're back. I think we're gonna take an intermission here. You got anything you want to throw out there before we go to intermission?
No, I'm good, man.
All right.
After the break.
All right, cool. All right, everybody, we're going to take a brief intermission over here in the boiler room. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we'll probably do the second half over there on Rockfin exclusive. So get on over to the Rockfin, ROKFIN.com. Look for Boiler Room over there. We got our channel over there. So join us over there. If you're watching this on Rockfin, just stick around. We'll light up a second stream. And for you listening out there live on Spreaker, just hang tight. You don't need to go anywhere. We're going to leave that stream running. And we'll see you on the other side of a quick break over here. Let's see. What can I throw you guys out here? Throw you some Deep State Blues by Permanent Wave on the way out.
Operation Trust and Deep State Blues, a mocking beam, a holographic moan, satanic ritual abuse, hardly